There are three energies of human mastery: money, sex, and food. You start to create this story in the first 7 years of your life.
Yeah, I'm not lovable, I'm not enough.
And maybe sometimes I can't be me. The journey of life is about returning to that. And once you're in this moment, you can start the process of moving from the frequency of fear into the frequency of love.
Business strategist turned life coach.
Danny Morel has guided millions, literally millions of people to heal and transform their lives.
The spiritual leader and the life coach.
Danny Morel, the crowd goes wild.
We've been so programmed to ask the wrong questions. Your mind goes, it's time to start a business. But then that subconscious story, maybe the one that your dad taught you, your mom taught you, will ask, how? And you're stuck. That word has been stopping you in every part of your life. It stops you in your relationships. It stops you in your body. It stops you in all three of the energies of human mastery.
What is the root cause of the pain, suffering, and sadness that a lot of people are feeling in the world right now that's keeping them blocked from having it all?
Right, so number one.
Welcome back, my friend. Lewis Howes here, and we have a powerful episode. If this is your first time here, make sure to click the subscription button on YouTube to stay notified on all the latest and greatest we have on the School of Greatness. Because today, Danny is going to reveal how our earliest childhood experiences create the subconscious programming that shapes our relationships with love, safety, and abundance, and how healing those core wounds is the key to creating lasting fulfillment and freedom. Get ready. It's about to be powerful. Like this video and share your biggest comment or question or takeaway in the comment sections below as well. And did you know that our subconscious programming also shapes us in our relationship with money, and our money history and our money story impacts the way we love and our self-worth today. So if you felt like you've been blocked around money in your life and you want a new relationship upgrade with money so it can come to you and flow freely and abundantly, make sure to get my new book, Make Money Easy, which will give you the keys on how to unlock financial freedom and live a richer life today. Make sure to get a copy. The link is below. Without further ado, let's dive in. Welcome back, everyone, to the School of Greatness. Very excited about our guest. We have the inspiring Danny Morel in the house. Good to see you, man. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
You have a quote I want to start with that I want to read.
Okay.
It's a quote that you said that said, from the moment we're born, we're taught that life is a balancing act, a struggle between work, relationships, health, and finances. The secret is, for true success and personal fulfillment, one must have it all: financial freedom, great health, rewarding relationships, and meaningful work. You must live a life of abundance. You can have it all. What we are talking about right before this is that a lot of people have pain, sadness, and suffering in their lives.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't feel like they have it all. What is the root cause of the pain, suffering, and sadness that a lot of people are feeling in the world right now that's keeping them blocked from having it all?
Okay, we're going there.
Yes.
I love it. Let's do it. So it all starts when you're born. If you think about it, you are in the comfort, the safety, the protection of your mother's womb, and you don't need anything. Yeah, you're getting fed, you're getting your nutrients. There's nothing to do masculine, right? And then you are born, and all of a sudden the lights are on. So think about this. You go from dark to light. That's the polarity. That's where it all begins. And in that moment you cry. That's where fear enters your life. The mother's womb is love, the feminine, right? And then the lights and the crying, that is essentially, that's the masculine. That's your mind going, what's going on?
The senses.
That's right. And how can I keep safe, right? So now when you're born, you're literally, just picture yourself as a baby right now. And I would love for your listeners to just like connect to the child, right, in them, the innocence of them. You're born and you're on your back and you're helpless and defenseless, right? Mm-hmm. Your entire life is dependent upon these two people, which are your caretakers, which is your mother and your father. what you eat, and if you eat or don't eat, what you feel, all of it, just from the way that they are looking down on you, they immediately start to imprint into your subconscious mind your beliefs around life. So if your parents look down at you like this, you are thinking, oh my God, life is awesome, right? But if your parents were in the middle of maybe a divorce or an argument or money issues or stress, anxiety, maybe drug issues, maybe abuse, these are real things that happen in life, then you're looking up like, I don't know if this thing called life is safe. As a matter of fact, I feel like this thing called life is meant to be struggle. And you are thrust out of your heart, love, abundance, you are it all, connection with God, into the mind. And immediately your whole focus is, how do I protect myself and keep myself alive, basically, right? Now, here's the issue. You keep growing on, and as you start to develop, right, you start learning from this mother and this father. And this mother and this father, based off of their woundings and based off of their life's experiences, pass down and into you more love or more fear, further thrusting you into one or the other. In my case, when I looked up, I saw a beautiful mom. And my mom's mom died when she was only 13 days old. Wow. The mother is the feminine. The feminine is the heart. So that means that my mom did not grow up with literally the frequency or the energy of love, because the mother is the source of love, right? This is why God made the woman to have breasts and to give milk, because
next to the heart.
Next to the heart, absolutely, because it's the love coming from her, sustaining the life in the child, right? The father is meant to be a source of guidance, direction, masculine, right? My father was the result of an affair, and so his dad disowned him.
Wow.
And I'll tell you something else that's really interesting. My dad, to this day, can't complete a sentence without a stutter. Oh. And I always wondered, like, this doesn't make sense, because, like, for me, communication is pretty easy, right? Come to find out, his dad was like the local politician, business person, and it finally all made sense. So I had a masculine wound and a feminine wound. So what happens is that when we have these woundings, we are essentially taught, like, I'm not getting the love that I should be getting.
You may not even be thinking it, you're just feeling something's off.
Louis, it's so deep. Yeah. It is no here. Yeah. It's just, it's
everywhere.
It's everywhere. And you start to create this story in the first 7 years of your life.
Yeah, I'm not lovable. I'm not enough.
I'm not enough. Maybe sometimes I can't be me. Maybe sometimes it's, I can't speak my truth because my dad told me to shut up. Maybe I can't express my emotions because every time I want to cry, my mom says, I'll give you something to cry about. And when the mother, the source of love, does that, get ready, because your throat chakra locked up.
Man, my throat was locked for 30 plus years of my life. Yeah. Until I started to use it in certain ways. I mean, it wasn't even until almost a year ago when I had to learn how to use it in different ways. It's like I still had to keep unlocking different levels of using my voice in business, intimacy, relationships, friends, family, like different levels.
That's right. Absolutely. And you know what the crazy thing, Louis, is like you mentioned those pillars. Like, there are 3 energies of human mastery. We're a soul having a human experience. And so when we come into this world, we have an opportunity to master these 3 energies: money, sex, and food, right? Think about most of our issues. Most of our issues are all surrounded around money. Do I have enough? Am I going to survive? Sex, relationships, can I connect, right? And then food, diet, body, right? And so when we don't receive love from our mother and father in the purest form, which, by the way, let me let you in on the secret, there's no way they can give it to you.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no perfect parents.
No, that's, and as a matter of fact, they were perfect for you because your soul chose them. You're here on a journey, right? And your soul looked down before you came to earth and said, those 2. And I know that might be hard because in the work that I do, I've heard of dads that rape women. I've heard of drug abuse. I've heard of physical beatings. All of it. All of it lends to a human being who starts looking outside of them for love. So how do we look for love? We look for love through success. We look for love through power. We look for love through admiration of the body. This is where a lot of our women are at
Beauty.
right now.
Yeah.
Beauty, right? We look through love through materialism. We look for love through, yes, money, right? When we're in the wrong energies. And we look for love through relationships. When am I going to find the one, right? The journey of life is about returning to that child. And reconnecting with that child and understanding that everything that happened was perfect because it brought you to this moment. And once you're in this moment, right, then you can start the process of healing. And you can start the process of moving from the frequency of fear into the frequency of love. And when you do that, Louis, what happens is you return here and then you go, okay, what do I want in my life? Not because I'm searching for it. Not because the world tells me that I need it. No, what do I want for my life? What is the truth? What is my truth? Who am I, right? Not because I'm afraid because my dad didn't give me guidance and I'm afraid to hold the camera up, or not because I'm afraid to speak my truth, not because I need outside validation. No. What is my truth? What do I want? And then from there, it's a process of awakening and healing. And Louis, once you get there, you could have it all because you literally are it all.
Yeah.
You literally are it all.
It's a beautiful explanation. And I've read part of your bio and your story where you were married, you have multiple children, and you built a massive real estate business that did $1 billion in transactions from real estate, hundreds of employees. All the success was there.
Yeah.
But a lot of it went crashing down.
Yeah.
Where was the biggest pain in your life that you've had to face and start to overcome? And what was on the other side of facing and overcoming that pain or fear?
Yeah. Everything we have ever wanted is just on the other side of fear. And the thing that I realized I was the most afraid of was knowing who I am and living from that truth.
Who are you?
I'm love.
Who were you before?
I was fear. Yeah, in every way, shape, or form. So like my money, $1 billion in sales, right? I had the car, I had the house, I had it all, right? But what was the energy inside of me that wanted that? I wanted what was on the other side of that. I wanted the validation, the acceptance, the success, which my subconscious thought love, right? The relationship. I was married for 13 years, and I can tell you, Louis, I remember the day at my wedding day when the cameraman came up to me and said, "What do you want to tell your beautiful wife to be?" And I literally thought, oh shit, what do I say? Because I wasn't in love.
Wow.
I was just doing the next thing that society tells me I needed to do. And I was searching for love outside of me. So I thought, once I get married, I'll be happy. And when that wasn't enough, it was once I have kids, I'll be happy. And then finally, when my mom died, that's when everything came crashing down. Because when I discovered that, man, I discovered, oh my God, I'm not happy.
How old were you then?
39,
Yeah.
40, something like that. Yeah.
And so you realized after your mom passed, that you're like, oh, you started having an awakening of, I have it all.
But I have nothing.
And I'm not happy.
And I'm not happy. And I'm going to events, by the way, who give me a wheel and talk to me about the balance of life. And Louis, every year, and it's like they make you like scribble in, like, and every year is like, out of balance. And no matter what I did, I was like, okay, this time I'm going to wake up earlier. Or this time I'm going to go on a date night, right? Or this time I'm going to like go on a diet. And every year it was out of balance. It was because it's always meant to be out of balance if you're living life from the outside in. When life, when your relationship, your money, your health, all of it is just a reflection of what's in here. There is no work-life balance. It's just who you are. It's just who you are.
So when people feel out of balance in their life, what is their life actually saying to them?
That there's a part of them that they have yet to access that most likely they've been afraid to access.
So if someone's struggling with their money, or someone's struggling with their health, or their relationship feels like it's falling apart.
Let's start with money.
Yeah.
If someone is struggling with money, they have to understand that money is simply energy. It's just energy. And we are just energy. So then the money that you earn or don't earn is very simply a reflection of the energy that you live with inside of yourself. The thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you have within yourself. I'll give you an example. Your mind goes, it's time to start a business, right? But then that subconscious story, maybe the one that your dad taught you, your mom taught you, your aunts and uncles taught you, the TV taught you, will ask, how? And you're stuck. And you stay stuck in the land of how.
Yeah, it's the wrong question.
It's the wrong question, right? But we've been so programmed to ask the wrong questions, right? I'll give you another example.
What's the question we should be asking around that?
Why? Why? Why do you want more money? Because I want to be free to live my life. Because I want to give my family whatever they want. Because I don't want to be trapped. Because I want to give back and I want to contribute to other people. Because I want to leave a legacy for my family. Because I want to live life on my terms without restrictions. Okay, you really want that? Do you really want that?
What's the price you got to pay to get
What's
it?
the price you got to pay? And here it is. Deal with how. Deal with how that word has been stopping you in every part of your life. Because it doesn't just stop you in your money. It stops you in your relationships. It stops you in your body. It stops you in all three of the energies of human mastery. It's your mind. It's your ego's little trick that it's been using on you to keep you from greatness. And you haven't been aware of it. So you have to go into how, right? You have to go into the fear, right? What if it all fails? Okay, what would you learn from that? Like glitch in the matrix,
Yeah, who
right?
do you become? Yeah.
Who do you become, right? What are the lessons that you learn from that? What if I make the video and they don't like it? Okay, what would that teach you, right? What new strategy would you have to implement? Or are you going to give all of your life's meaning and all of your financial worth to someone not liking the video, which you're free to do? Like God gave us the ability to choose. And that's the biggest thing, is you can always choose to make something wrong, or you could choose to make it perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, my dad wasn't in my life. My mom didn't know how to love me. For so long, man, I harbored so much negative emotions towards my dad. I hated him, quite frankly. And what I didn't realize is that when I or we as human beings hate or have unresolved negative energy with our father, we actually have unresolved negative energy and hate with the masculine part of ourselves.
Wow.
And with God, Lewis. And with God.
We're resenting, why did God have my father do this to me or not be there for me?
All of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
All of it. Because you have to understand, when you go back to that little baby version of you, no one's taught you about church yet. No one's taught you about religion yet. None of that has set in. So who on earth do you think God is? The mom and the
Parents.
dad.
Yeah.
The mom and the dad, the masculine and the feminine. So when you have unresolved anger with your dad, there is unresolved anger with your masculine, and it is going to block your life's capacity to go out and envision and create the life of your dreams.
If you're a woman who has unresolved resentment or trauma or stress with your father,
Bingo.
whether he was in your life or he wasn't in your life, and you have that energy towards your father,
I'll tell you exactly
whether
what's
he's
gonna
alive
happen.
or he's dead,
I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen.
what is going to happen for a woman in their life unless they learn to either forgive or transform that energy into love and meaning?
Right. So number one, she will create a story. Subconsciously. She doesn't grab a book and go, this is my life story. No, dude, it's It's in her. It's in her cells. It's in her DNA. And that story will say something along the lines of, from this day forward, my heart has been broken.
Ooh.
And I will never allow my heart to be broken by a man ever again for as long as I live. And so what I am going to do subconsciously and energetically is put a trap door around my heart.
Man.
And I'm going to go and live life from my mind. And I will be my own protector. And I will be my own provider. And I will give myself what my dad was never able to give me. Now watch. That's all great. But then what happens when you're looking for love? What happens when that woman is looking for real love? Well, the only way she'll access it is to reopen her heart. The only way she'll access it is to go back and heal that story, which is the scariest thing for a human being to do. Because guess what that means, Louis? That means you have to go back to the very place that you promised yourself, not consciously.
Yeah, I would never do this again.
Unconsciously.
I will never let this happen.
I will never let this happen again. And the defensiveness and the walls have to fall.
Gosh.
You have to open yourself up and go, that part of me, I'm going to allow it to die.
Yes.
To die. Because if not, here's the kind of man she will attract. She will attract a man, by the way, and a life financially that will keep her constantly chasing, that will keep her constantly protecting, that will keep her constantly providing, which, by the way, the world today is encouraging that. It's encouraging that. And there's a dark spiritual reason for why that's happening. But if you're the man, then how can you attract a man? So you'll attract a male he'll have a penis.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But energetically, he'll be in his wounded masculine or in his feminine energy.
What is a wounded masculine energy?
It's a lack of courage. It's a lack of self-worth. It's timidity. It's not being able to speak your truth. It shows up in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's manipulative. Sometimes it's highly driven sexually, and so it'll go out and conquer, and get, because it's looking for love that it never got from its mother. So it taught itself, I'm going to live through the body, right? I'm not going to feel. I'm just going to go, right? It's manipulative and controlling at times with money, with finances. But in that case, with the woman that we're describing, the man will most likely be, for lack of better words, weak. Yeah. It's where you see those relationships. My mom wore the pants.
Yes.
It's right because that woman, remember what she said unconsciously, I will never let this be accessed ever again. Right? So energetically, you ain't even doing this consciously. You ain't even swiping and going, you know what? That one looks weak. No. You're literally, Louis, energetically, subconsciously attracting and calling in only the man that is in the feminine, because you energetically know you can control him.
Wow.
And if you can control him, Louis, the mind. If you can control him, guess what he can never do? Hurt you.
So when someone is looking to manifest or attract a relationship, an opportunity, financial abundance from a masculine wound or feminine wound, and they get the result they want.
Right.
You created the business from
I did.
a wound. You attracted more money,
That's
more
right.
success, notoriety, fame, whatever it might be.
That's right.
When we attract or manifest from a wounded place and we actually receive the thing we wanted,
Right.
what happens?
There will be a cost. A very deep, profound cost. For me, it was my body. I was 70 pounds overweight.
I saw some old photos of you. I was
Yeah,
like,
dude,
man, you
I
look-
was literally, I looked like I had like 20 pizzas. You know, it was, my head was literally like this. And I want to explain that, right? You see, my soul and my heart knew that something was wrong. Yeah. But I didn't know how to access it. I didn't know that I wasn't living in my truth. And so what happened was I finally had the money. I had the big house. I remember I bought a piece of land and I built this big, massive Italian Tuscan villa. I had the stuff, right? But I couldn't sit still.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't meditate. My mind was always racing. I couldn't make love. I couldn't look at my wife I couldn't connect. I wasn't connected to myself. I couldn't receive her love. She never had a shot with me. She never had a chance with me, Louis.
Yeah.
Because my heart was closed. So it's like you're doing the thing, right? You're looking good on camera. You're looking good on Instagram. Every year passes, you're putting the little cake, and your ego feels really. I've been married for 25 years, but you're miserable.
Yeah.
You're miserable because you cannot give or receive what you don't energetically have with yourself. And I never knew that, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was just living for the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
When was the moment that you started to, I guess, kill off the old ego that was holding you back?
The way I see it, my mom died, and it was a soul contract that we had, and I'd love to explain that a little bit. You know,
what is a soul contract?
a soul contract is just picture like you and your parent, right? And you're hovering up as little angels, and you guys have a plan. And the plan is that, like, Danny, it's your time to go heal. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go down first. I'm going to experience and call in my mom dying at 13 days old so that I could be wounded in this way, so that I could never know how to give you love, so that you can feel everything that you need to feel, so that when I die, boom, it all comes online. And that's why, Louis, most transformation comes after a death.
Or near death.
Or near death, or a loss of a job, or a loss of a relationship, is because our souls are calling this all in. If we could finally allow ourselves to look back and look at everything that has happened in life, that ex that you attracted, yeah, that narcissist one too, right? The one that treated you bad, your mother and the relationship with your father, that job that you almost got but you didn't get, all of it. And instead of judging it all as bad and as poor me, which keeps us in victim energy, check this out. People hate it when I say this, because the ego in them hates it, because the ego knows that if you finally accept what I'm about to tell you, part of the ego must die. You were the creator of it all. All of it. Because it's either we're a victim or a creator.
Mm-hmm. And when we create from a victim mindset, what happens?
When we create from a victim mindset.
Or we live life from a victim mindset.
Yeah, because I don't know that no. When we live life from a victim mindset, we are constantly calling in the right partner, the right career, the right everything to keep us in the victim mindset.
Wow. So what needs to happen for us to switch from victim to creator? Because a lot of people who are in that victim space, and I've been there in the past.
So have I.
So I know the energy.
Yeah.
It's all consuming. It's all encompassing of there's no way out. Everyone else is to blame.
Right.
These things happen to me, and so this is why I'm here.
Yeah.
I feel emotionally depressed, mentally, psychologically overwhelmed, that I have no energy to go create. So how can I even think of a life or a dream when I'm in so much sadness and suffering, and so much is against me emotionally, physically, broken. Everything is broken in my life.
Yeah.
And no one is there to support me.
Yeah.
So the world is against me.
Right.
So why should I even create? What's the point?
Okay.
It's not going to work out. I've tried in the past.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
I want to be very sensitive to this person right now.
There's a lot of people out there like that.
There's a lot of people out there right now, and I'm sending you all my sincerest love, because in the work we do, Louis, I have dealt with, you see, that's a frequency.
Yes.
That's an energetic frequency. If you read David Hawkins' work, Power versus Force, all of us as human beings calibrate and are living from a different frequency. What you just described, Lewis, is shame and guilt. It is the two lowest frequencies that a human being can operate from. That means, Lewis, and this is really important, the only way that a human being can operate from that frequency is if something happened in their life that drove them into that frequency. And normally, unfortunately, it's some form of abuse.
Yes.
It's some form of abuse that happened, physical. I'll tell you a story. I had a friend, and he came to me. And when he came to me, he had a stent in his chest. And he had 40 bottles of like prescription medication. And he came to me, and I'm pretty open about this. I was going to lead a small group through a mushroom ceremony that weekend, right? And I looked at him and I said, "What do you need all those pills for?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, because I have this thing." He had an autoimmune disease that essentially would cause his whole body to flare up so much that he couldn't breathe.
Wow.
And so he'd have to be rushed to the hospital, inject something into the thing.
Wow.
Or, and then so that they could stick a tube down his throat, right? So that he could live, essentially. If not, he would die. Let me tell you how deep this is. He came to me because he wanted to learn how to build his business in a way so that when that happened, it would put him out 3 weeks out of the year, and it would happen to him 3 to 4 times out of the year. Think of this life now, right? His business wouldn't fall apart.
Right. Right.
Think about this. Think about you're thinking of your life in a way to where I know I'm going to get this sick, so please help me so that my business, that's a sad place to be.
Yeah, very.
That's a sad place to be. So there was just something in me that said, you're not going to need those anymore. And this thing, you're going to pull it out here pretty soon. And he was like, you're crazy. To make a long story short, this took a lot of work. But again, remember I said something happened in the past. The more I worked with him, guess what happened to him as a little boy? His dad used to beat the living daylights out of him.
Wow.
The living daylights out of him. His dad had an alcohol abuse and would come home and literally just beat him to a pulp. To the point that I remember he told me that it at one point in time no longer hurt.
Oh, man. Talk about numbing yourself.
Now think about this. Remember that innocence? Remember what story did that innocent little boy create about life when the life he knew was my dad, the person who's supposed to love me, support me, and protect me, is doing this to me. Life means pain. And then what does the body do when that is unresolved? It flares up.
Yes.
90 days later, the doctor pulled that out. He's now off all medication. Why? Because he went and he healed the past.
Wow.
And that's why sometimes people think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've seen rape victims that are literally forgiving, thanking, and sending love to the perpetrator. Because it's all energy, my friend. It's the same thing I had to do with my father. I was literally leading 800 people through breath work. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen in my life, man. And I felt so humbled by it. You know, people are crying and they're screaming and they're sobbing and they're releasing so much energy. And I was like, oh my God, like that's humbling, you know? Clear as day, God said, yeah, but you're never gonna help them become all that they can become if you don't become all that you can become. And you know what my ego said? I got it, God.
Yeah.
I got it. And clear as day, it's time to forgive your father.
Oh, wow.
Nope. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that because you don't know, God. You don't know what he did to me, my mind, the wounding. He did this. He did that. He wasn't there. I needed him. All of the story, right? And then one day I just said, son of a gun, I'm going to have to do this to fulfill my life's purpose. And I started that process little by little. So step number one for someone who is in that situation is to release the judgment of the pain.
Of the current pain or past?
The past pain.
Yeah.
The past, the current, all of it. and just get into a space of acceptance and awareness. Honor the pain, right? I'm not saying disregard it. I'm saying honor the pain, right? But look for a place in where that pain brought you a gift. This is the biggest thing with like women who have dealt with narcissists. And I always say, stop calling them narcissists.
Instead, call them what?
Call them my brother, my greatest teacher, because if anything, what they did is they showed you what you no longer want to have in life. And it takes two narcissists to have a narcissist. There was a part of you that was responsible for creating and attracting that relationship.
Yeah.
Because it's either you're a victim or the creator. And people who are trapped in the frequency of fear, they're probably going to turn off the camera right now because that's a little bit too much. And I understand that. I'm only sharing it because I've been there. But walk through this. Walk through this. Ready? On the first date. Maybe the second date. You felt something.
Yeah.
Maybe the third, maybe a week later. I know your ego's gonna try to at some point in time, you felt something.
Yeah.
You knew something was off. You knew that they treated you a certain way.
Yeah. You allowed it.
And you allowed it.
Yeah.
So guess what?
It's on you.
Co-created.
It's on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are say, well, but they lied, but they did this, but there's something where you felt something was weird or off, or people told you something's off about this person, or hey, watch out for this.
It was like me, brother, with my ex-wife. Right? It was like I literally lived in a relationship where for the outside world, I was big Mr. Masculine. I was the big dog. In my house, I was a little bit.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Yeah, because I wanted love so bad
You would do
that
whatever.
I would do whatever it took.
Yeah.
So whenever she would do her thing, guess what I would do?
Man, whatever you need.
By the way,
Oh, man.
that's
That
not
was
her.
my
That's
past.
not her fault.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
Yeah.
Did you say that's your past?
That was, past relationships where it's like I changed who I was to please the other people because I didn't want to like be alone, or I didn't want to lose that love, or I felt some of the love, but then they would take it away.
That's right.
And so I was like, okay, let me please you.
That's right.
Stepping into a wound as opposed to my masculine self.
That's right.
It doesn't mean like my authentic self.
right.
It doesn't mean like being screaming or reaching their level of crazy, but just reaching level of like courage and boundaries.
That's
You know,
right.
and say, hey, this doesn't work for me.
And speak your truth and become aware of how that makes you feel, right? Listen, when you do that, it makes me feel like this. Well, I can appreciate that reaction, right? And yet, however, like become aware that reaction is the shadow side of them. And you attracted that shadow side.
Yeah.
And real love says, this is how that makes me feel. Real love says, takes ownership. This is what I am seeing is contributing into this problem that we're having. Real love says, from this day forward, I'm going to work on it. Because I can no longer be this version of me because it's creating that version of you.
If someone, we're talking about relationships for a second now, if someone gets into a relationship, I already know what you're going to say, but for the audience to hear it, someone gets into a relationship from a wound.
Yeah.
And then they,
Well, can I stop you?
Go ahead.
Not if.
When?
If you are a human being alive right now, and you have not started your journey of awakening and healing, you are 1,000,000,000% operating from a wound.
Yeah.
So continue.
Yeah. And, healing is a journey. It doesn't
That's
happen
right.
overnight. It's an
It
ongoing
doesn't.
journey forever.
Yes.
If someone gets into a relationship from an unconscious, wounded place, as opposed to a conscious journey of healing,
Right.
and the relationship doesn't work out, year 2, 5, 20 years in, it doesn't work out, and the person doesn't work on healing themselves within the relationship, but they say, it's their fault, we're not the right fit, I'm going to go find someone new.
I will bet you $10 trillion that you will end up finding the exact same person, just in a different body.
Yeah, but they look different, a different background, different makeup, all these different things. Same energy.
By the way, guess why that's happening? Because your soul, God, the universe, the aliens, whoever you want to call it, is like, Wake up. Don't you see? Wake up. Wake up.
Yeah.
You're calling it in to provide a mirror for that unhealed part of you so that you can go, wait, something's not happening. Something's not working. The victim, by the way, this is my life's passion, is victim energy will just keep, and then people die like this, Louis.
I know.
People die like this. And this is where when I saw my mom, like my mom didn't live a happy life, bro. She wasn't free. She didn't speak her truth. And I saw this and I thought to myself, like, I want to go find out why. Like I'm tired.
What did you find out?
That it was all a result of what's going on inside. My mom didn't speak her truth because her throat chakra was all locked up. And I know that sounds woo-woo and and hippie, and I'm telling you right now, you're looking at a man that if I was here 7 years ago, I would have been like, get out of here with that throat chakra. And with it. If you go on my Instagram, you just scroll all the way down.
See it all.
I was dark sunglasses, by the way, hiding the soul. Custom suit. Standing behind the Aston Martin. Love me for what I have, not for who I am. Right? If you really look at, and by the way, women do this as well with their bodies.
Their beauty.
Love me for my outside because I'm afraid of you knowing me for my inside.
Interesting.
Love me for the outside versus know me for the inside. That's the deepest fear. Because you know why? Because if you let someone in that deep, what if they reject you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that was me, man. I was that guy.
Yeah. There's another quote you have that's similar to what you're talking about right now. Your journey helped you realize that everything on the outside of yourself, your finances, the health of your body, and your relationship were all a reflection of what's going on the inside.
That's right.
And in your innermost thoughts, feelings, and emotions.
That's right.
And once a person heals and changes on the inside, their entire life changes.
100%.
But why is it so scary for humans to start to heal and transform when they don't want to think something's wrong with them?
Yeah. Well, first off, I want to give you an example and then I'm going to tell you why. So for me, I've been making at least $1 million a year since I was 27 years old. For me and my life's karma, money is not the issue, right? It's like, drop me off on a deserted island, I'm going to figure some shit out, right? Relationships has been my issue.
Really?
Relationship with myself, relationship with others, that's where I kind of struggle, right? And we all have like a karma, a thing that we have to deal with, right? So now, I would go out and I would make the money, but I'd be working 7 days a week. I'd be filled with stress. I was filled with anxiety. I would cope by overeating. Thus the weight gain. You understand what I'm saying?
See.
When you return inside, I'm going to just go ahead on record and saying this. You could make 10 times the money you're making right now in half of the effort. Because you leave the frequency of force. Force is desire. I desired to be known, famous, wealthy, whatever. And that is where, to answer your question, most of the energy here in the 3D world is. We have all been in our masculine. And what's happening right now, Louis, as a collective, this is happening all over planet Earth. Human beings are starting the process of going from here to going to here. 10 years ago, people weren't talking about ayahuasca or mushrooms or meditating or healing or any of that. But now it's all that everyone's talking about because we've done life here.
What also sounds like it's all that everyone's talking about in our circles, but also there's another extreme of everyone's not talking about it, that we just don't know about.
True.
That are like the younger generation that sees the success, the money, the girls, or whatever, the guys, or whatever it might be, and they're not even thinking about it. But maybe an older generation is starting to wake up.
Yeah, true.
That we are seeing and everyone's talking about in our circles.
Yeah.
So there's like a yes
Yeah.
and a darker side as well.
Because they're going through the process.
They haven't gone through it yet.
They haven't gone through it. It's like, you know, like it's like guys with cars. It's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I never was into the car thing. I don't know why. And I'd see guys like always posting photos with the cars, and I was like, that isn't interesting to me for whatever reason.
Right.
I wasn't like a car guy.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, he must know something that made him money.
Yeah, sure.
And I want to learn how to make money.
Sure,
right?
yeah. The reason why I brought that up is because it's like, you know, when a young guy comes up to me and says, man, I'm about to buy whatever. And you know what I go? Go ahead. Because it's like they have to go through the journey. They have to feel the pain, and they have to realize that that's not where life is at. This is polarity, right?
Yes.
You have to go through it to then desire the other side of it, basically.
You have to go through pain and desire peace, I guess.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Where in your life currently are you resisting the most from feeling the most abundant and free?
Love
You're resisting love the most?
with a partner.
You are resisting it.
Yeah. It's still a thing.
Did you just get married recently?
I did, but I'm still human. And
So
and that's the beauty of it, man.
So you're resisting love.
Not consciously, unconsciously.
What does that look like?
I'll give you a story. Part of me, because I'm a provider, right, subconsciously feels like I don't have to participate, let's just say, in certain household things, right?
I'm curious where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those things could be, I'm just going to be honest, like spending quality time with my daughter,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
right? That is still, admittedly, not my strength. And I tell my wife this all the time. It's like, think about it. Like, I don't know what it's like for a parent to spend quality time with me. Yeah? I'm getting much better. Louis, back when I was married, man, I would find ways to like avoid intimacy with my family.
Sure.
Now I'm going into it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like been the greatest medicine of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man.
Because my now wife is literally everything my heart has ever desired. Everything. The most incredible woman on planet Earth. And the ego, I said this in the podcast, it was a week before we got married. My mind was going ape shit.
What was it? What was happening?
Well, it was just trying, because the ego will just try to find the way, right? And the masculine desires freedom.
Yes.
Yeah?
Options, freedom.
Options, freedoms, right? The feminine desires connection.
Yes.
This is
Intimacy.
where like God, I think, is up there laughing because it made us like this, right? And by the way, just to be clear, we all have masculine and feminine, right? It's just that the woman will lean more towards connection and the man will lean more towards freedom. So literally a week before we're married, we did this on our podcast, but I finally, in my previous relationship, I wasn't free to speak my truth because that was on me. So in this relationship, I say it all, everything. Like that's part of what makes our relationship work, right?
And you feel probably safe and that you can trust her because she's not reacting in crazy ways.
Yeah, yeah.
She may not agree with what you're thinking,
But I
and say that doesn't work for me, but you can speak it.
brother, listen, and it's that, and I just won't live my life like that anymore.
Yeah.
I will not live, like, I'd rather just not be in a relationship than be in one where I can't speak my truth.
Of course.
You know? So I go to her and I'm like, baby, I have to talk to you about something, right? And I'm like nervous, because like this is a thing, it's a man's thing, right?
Yeah.
Baby, I'm never gonna have sex with anybody else ever again.
It's terrifying.
It really is.
Terrifying.
It's terrifying, right? And if you're a man out there, you know this is a thought. It's a thought, right? Now, you know what she said? It was so beautiful. She talked to me, and she's done the work. She's done the healing work, and she said to me, "Well, babe, we get to define what a marriage looks like for us. So, who's to say that you won't in 3 or 4 years?" And I was like,
What?
Wait, what? What did you just say? And you know what the craziest thing, man, is? The moment she said that and we had that conversation,
You didn't want it anymore.
it was gone.
It's funny, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah. So that's how, if you think about it, that was me, my mind, my ego, avoiding intimacy.
Of course. Yeah, of course, man. Wow, that's interesting.
When someone is on their healing journey, they get to choose to tap into the courage to forgive someone. They get to tap into the courage to let go of the anger, the resentfulness, the hurt, the anger. And I go like this because we are literally carrying it around in our bodies, Louis. Every time you go get a massage, and the masseuse goes like this to your hips and your legs and your shoulders and the knots, guess what that is? That's your body's been holding on to all this energy for so long. I'll prove it to you. Look at babies. Babies are flexible. The muscle, you're supposed to be able to push into the muscle all the way to the bone and not feel pain. That's how much we're holding on to.
Right.
And watch this. Just above courage, all of the frequencies, guess what's close to the top? It's love. Guess what's above love? It's enlightenment. And enlightenment, guess what the God view of enlightenment is? I am. This is what Jesus said. That's right. I am one with God.
Yeah.
This is the soul's journey, brother. Why do you think Bob Marley, to this day, every little thing is gonna be all, and you just smile, you just light up, you get happy, because Bob Marley was calibrating at love. Why do you think hip hop? Yeah, it's popular in this world right now, but we're talking about drugs and all that. It's down here, brother.
Yeah.
So if you want to change your life, here we go. Stop listening to the wrong music. Stop watching the news. It is literally programming you through the energy of fear. Stop hanging out with the people that do not support the path of your life. Stop hanging out with negative human beings. But Danny, what if they're, yes, them too? Wait, what if they're, yes, them too? That's your mind. Because something magical happens, Louis, when we decide to step into our truth and honor ourselves and love ourselves. It's the most powerful thing that we can do for planet Earth. Because when we decide to return to love, everyone around us, like literally little by little, they start to heal as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
You start to have that positive ripple effect.
That's right.
I want to go into relationships here in a second, and that deeper in relationships, and really how to attract kind of like the person that's meant for you in a healthy, conscious way. Because we started to touch on that, but I want to kind of do a whole segment on it.
Let's do it.
Before we do, if you could wrap up, if anyone's thinking of like, man, I just still feel blocked from like creating the life I want, whether it be financial abundance, emotional freedom, all of it, right?
I got you.
If you could sum it up in a sentence or two, or paraphrasing it, what is needed for someone to manifest the life of their dreams?
Okay. What's needed is for you to understand that you are not separate from the very thing that you desire. You are actually that thing. The future version of yourself is actually the one that has that thing inside of your mind because it is calling in the pathway for you to get it. The thing that keeps human beings distance from whatever they want in life is, can I go a little deep here?
Of course.
Okay. Is the program that they and God are separate. When they and God are separate, they and life are separate. They and the very things they want are separate. So they're constantly praying and hoping for this magical thing to please send me the thing that I want. And all of the angels and Jesus himself and God and Allah and Buddha and everybody's looking down going, when will you wake up and realize that you're the one that you've been waiting for? When you finally understand that you and the Creator are one, then you, my beautiful brothers and sisters, can create whatever you want in life. The same way you have created this and I've created what I've created, you are not separate from Louis. Louis ain't better than you. He's you. He's just a more developed version of you. That's it. So stop looking up to him and stop looking up to me and stop looking up to anybody. Because I am you and you are me and I am you and we're all one, man. We're all one. And once you finally get that, then the victim part leaves you. No one's better than you. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. As a matter of fact, thank them for showing you what's possible. And then grab a pen and a piece of paper and write down money. And maybe don't start off with like $1 million, right? Maybe, just maybe, I tell my people, have you ever made 100 grand in a year? No. Then why the hell are you worried about $1 million?
Right. Start there.
So now, have you ever made 50 grand? Well, no, okay, well, that's your number.
Yeah, yeah.
And watch this, Lewis. Whatever your number is, put all of your energy, your heart, your soul, meditate, think about every single moment of your life, that number. And no longer accept anything that is stopping you from having that number.
Go all in on it.
Go all in on that number. And guess what happens when you get that number? Guess what? You'll create a new story for yourself. And that story will go, oh my God, I did it. I did it. So if I could do that, could I do that number?
I get to 100,000.
Yes, yes, yes. And then guess what? You do the same thing with relationships. We'll get to this in a second, but you just go out there and create. Like, what do you want to feel like in relationship?
Yes.
Who do you want to call in, right? And be honest with yourself. Like, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to be attracted to my wife. Is that a sin? No, it's what I wanted. So I wanted to call in someone that was beautiful on the outside, but here was the kicker, but that didn't know it. That didn't put her life's value on the outside.
Maybe she knew it, but she didn't.
Yeah, she didn't live from
emphasis.
that,
Yeah.
right? So when I'm scrolling on Instagram, I don't want her. I want her in her. You know what I mean? And I wanted her to be honest. I wanted her to be smart. I wanted to feel connection. I wanted to feel safe speaking my truth, right? And I said, if I don't get this is the key. You've been accepting the when everything you've ever wanted is available. Stop accepting the and you'll open the doors to what you actually want.
Yeah, I think we get what we tolerate.
That's right, man. That's right.
Once we're an adult. Maybe when we're kids, we're, beholden to our parents or the situation or the government or whatever until we're 18. But you get what you tolerate once you're an adult.
Yeah. And then Lewis, the last one, like if I've had a struggle with anything, it's been this one. It's the body. Because I had a deep-rooted story in my life that my ego created. And I'm going to share it here. It was that all Hispanics are fat.
Yeah.
Because everyone in my family was fat.
Dominican, right? Or
I'm Dominican and Ecuadorian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And part Colombian. Right?
All the toxic mixed up.
All of it. Yeah. But I could dance good.
Yeah.
That I could do, right? But so and everyone had no one was healthy. So when you grow up thinking that was the story in my mind, right? When I started to lose the weight, it was because I dropped the story. And then guess what happened? Then I realized that my relationship with food was deeply connected to my relationship with my mother. I was looking for in food what I didn't get from my mother. And this is how deep this stuff is. So the last thing is stop beating yourselves up. You're on a journey.
Yes.
Be thankful for it all, man. Like, love yourself. Give yourself grace. If you go out and try something to make money and it doesn't work, that's okay. Grab the lesson and go try again. If you try a relationship and it doesn't work, that's okay. Thank them, send them love, and go try again. If you started the diet but then you eat a whole bunch of cookies, that's okay. Start again the next day and just keep going.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
It's been powerful. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you got some value from this episode as much as I did. If you did, please do me a favor and click the like button right now. If you like this, it's going to help share it out into the YouTube world even more for us. Please click that like button and leave a comment below on your biggest takeaway or if you have any questions that you want me to follow up with. Also, subscribe to our channel because when you do, you help us book even bigger guests, and I want you to have the best information out there in the world because that's what the School of Greatness is all about. So make sure to subscribe right now, like this video, share a comment below on your biggest takeaway. And also, I've got some big news, a new book. If you're looking to create financial freedom in your life and you want more abundance and you want a richer life, then make sure to check out my new book, Make Money Easy. I think you're gonna love this, and it's all about creating financial freedom. The link is below in the description, or you can go to makemoneyeasybook.com and check it out.
Be a great father, I'm not, but I know I'm a good father. What did I learn or what did I feel? The first thought I had is I need more money.
Really?
The U.S. becomes more like itself every day. It is a loving, kind place for people with money. It's a rapacious, violent place for people without money. Low-income homes, the kids have higher